All right, so welcome to our deep dive today. We are going to be taking a look at something really interesting.
Okay.
It's just like this tiny little snippet of writing, just 2 sentences, that feels like it was ripped right out of a much, much bigger story.
Ah,
We don't know anything else about it,
interesting.
but it's this really, really powerful glimpse into someone's experience with, well, love and loss, actually. So our mission, if you want to call it that, today is to see what we can discover about relationships
Yeah.
and like the impact they have on us just from these few words.
Yeah, I love that. It's amazing how much emotion and meaning you can pack into just a couple of sentences,
Yeah.
right?
And this first line, it really just grabs you. It says, I was already complete when I met him. It's a pretty bold statement, don't you think?
It is,
It
yeah.
makes you really stop and think, like, what does it actually mean to be complete? And how does that, how does that affect how we go about relationships? Have you ever felt that way? Like you were already a whole person before you got into a relationship?
You know, it's interesting you bring that up. It reminds me of this concept in psychology we call attachment styles.
Oh,
You've probably heard of that, right?
yeah, vaguely.
So some people, they develop what we call a secure attachment style,
Okay.
meaning they just naturally feel like worthy, whole, complete, even if they don't have a romantic partner.
Right.
It's not that they don't want love or connection, but they're coming at it from this place of, strength.
Not like they need someone to complete them.
Exactly. Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. And then the writing, it goes on, it says, he just filled my life with so much color. And it's so interesting how it shifts from this idea of completeness to this sense of like vibrant joy.
Yeah.
What do you think color represents in this context?
That's a great question. I think it really signifies the richness of experiences,
Yeah.
the growth, the shared joy that came from that relationship. Think about it like how color evokes emotions and memories. This person wasn't just like adding someone to their life. They were like enriching the entire tapestry of their existence.
That's beautifully said, really. And it kind of leads us to this really poignant moment in the text. To go on without him seemed absurd. Oh, you can just feel the weight of the loss in those words.
It's heartbreaking, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really just speaks to how deep their connection was
Yeah.
and the profound sense of grief they must be feeling. When you lose someone who's so deeply intertwined with your life,
Right.
the thought of moving forward
Yeah.
can just feel impossible, utterly impossible.
Really underscores how intense grief can be. It's not
Yeah.
just sadness. It's like your whole world is just completely upheaved.
Absolutely. And it really reminds us how important it is to let ourselves grieve.
Yeah.
Acknowledge the pain and reach out for support. I know it's tempting to try to avoid those feelings,
Yeah.
to push them down, but, processing them, that's how we heal.
I think that's such a crucial point. Like, it's okay to not be okay. And asking for help.
Yeah,
That can really make a difference when you're dealing with such powerful emotions.
for sure.
This line, to go on without him seemed absurd, got me thinking about something else too, though.
What's that?
The whole idea of like finding your identity in a relationship. If going on without this person seems absurd, you got to wonder, what does that say about their sense of self?
That's a really, really good point. It raises some important questions about, interdependence versus codependency, right?
Yeah.
Healthy relationships should definitely enhance our lives.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't lose ourselves in the process.
Right.
Sometimes loss, it forces us to face those blurry boundaries
Yeah.
and to rediscover who we are, outside of the relationship.
It's a tough process, but a necessary one, don't you think?
Absolutely. Rebuilding your identity after a loss, it can be so challenging.
Yeah.
But it's also a chance to grow, to learn more about yourself, to discover new things.
It's amazing, isn't it, how in just these 3 short sentences, we've gone through like this whole journey.
Yeah.
The feeling of being complete, experiencing that vibrant joy, and then facing this profound sense of loss.
Really speaks volumes, doesn't it, about the power of human connection
Yeah.
and the impact it has on us.
An impact that lasts.
Uh-huh.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with something to think about. How have your relationships, the good ones, the bad ones, shaped who you are? It's something to really ponder, isn't it?
It is.